This lab is for the Netacad course, and this is the 3.3.3.4 lab, or 3.3334, using Wireshark to view network traffic. And I'm going to try to keep this video in a shorter time frame because I'm going to clip some time out of it. But what you should be doing is installing Wireshark, or in my case, I'm going to show you how to do it on the NDG Labs. It's already installed for you there, but I'm going to walk through real quick and show you the install for Wireshark. And before we do that, though, the objectives for this is we're going to download and install Wireshark. That's optional. If you're using the NDG Labs, then you can just, it's already installed for you. But if you do need to install that, I'll walk that through real quick. You need to capture and analyze local ICPM data. And then part 3 is capture and analyze remote ICMP data in Wireshark. So that gives you the background here. I'm not going to read through this. You can pause the video here and read down through this, what it's asking you to do on the background and scenario. But in a quick format, Wireshark is software that lets you analyze or sniff packets on the network. It's what they call a packet sniffer. And you can go through and anything that you, in your subnet, that your network card can see, it can capture that data and analyze it. And especially if it's not encrypted, you can read all that information. If it's encrypted, you would have to have some kind of decryption protocol or software, or be able to decrypt that with passwords and things like that. But at the level that we're working with it, it's just a packet sniffer, and you can just call it a packet sniffer on that. So you're going to need at least one PC with Windows 7, Vista XP. You can use Windows 10 as well, and then additional PCs on your local area network if you're using this in a physical lab. So the optional part here is to download and install Wireshark. And I'm going to take you over to my Windows 7 machine here. And I've already went to wireshark.org. I went to download, and these are our download options here. I've got the I'm going to do the 64-bit, and you just do the 64-bit. I've already got it downloaded. So I'm just going to go in here, and we're going to install that. I've installed it once, so I'll have to overwrite everything. So we're just going to click on yes there, and I need to uninstall it first. So it's going to go through and uninstall. And we're going to click yes, read the licensing agreement. It's got all the information in there. After you read that, you can click on I agree. If you don't agree, then back out and don't install it. And I'm going to install it with all of the options here. Wireshark, T-Sharp, Wireshark, all the plugins that are on there. On the tools here, I just let it go ahead and do those. I don't need the other ones here because I'm not going to do an Android. I just leave it default. Click next. I go ahead and make a desktop icon, unless I'm on a Windows 10 machine, and then I do it a little bit different. And then there's a legacy desktop icon. I'm going to also associate trace file extensions to Wireshark. If you don't want to do any type of file extension association, then just click none. Then go into where you're going to put it. This case is program files Wireshark. Click next. I'm going to install the WinPCAP. That's what allows. It's a small program that allows Wireshark to work. I'm not going to install the USB PCAP because I'm using this on a VirtualBox. I don't need that. If you want to know what it is, you can click on that. And it's going to take you to the website. I'm going to click install. It's going to go through. I'm going to pause the video here until it's done. Okay, so it's installed. I'm going to click next. It's going to do the WinPCAP. I'm going to agree to that. Automatically start the WinPCAP driver at boot time. I'm going to go ahead and tell it to do that. And it sometimes wants you to reboot your computer. This one I don't need to because I've already installed it once and rebooted. So I'm just going to click finish and let it finish up the install. Okay, it's all completed. I'm going to click next. You can tell it to run. I'm not going to run it yet. I'm just going to go ahead and click finish. I'm going to close my browser, and I should have an icon now on my desktop. And I should be able to open that up and start working with Wireshark. And I can drop down and, well, I don't have my filters yet, but I can manage filters. There's my Ethernet. I'm working in a VM here, so it's a little bit different that I'll have to connect it to. But that's the Wireshark on getting that installed. And next, I'm going to switch over to the NDG Lab, which already have computers with it installed, and it makes it a lot easier for me to video this. Okay, so the lab walks you through the earlier versions of Wireshark, but that's what we did here. I'm just going to scroll down on installing that because that's what we just watched on the video. And this is in the lab session here. And it will look a little bit different than the one that you're probably installing here, because this is the older version. This is a 1.83. That's the 1.83 that it's showing the help for, and this one is the 2.2 version. So if you're doing that lab and it's a little bit different, that's why it's going to look a little bit different on there. Could be because this is the 1.83. But you're going to go ahead and do that. And next, we're going to move over to part 2. And to do that, I'm going to move this off the screen, and I'm going to open up the virtual windows to the 3 virtual boxes that I have running on NDG. Okay, so I have my 3 boxes here. I have A, B, and C, and I've got them all running, and I'm tied into them. And what it needs to do first is we're going to use PCA as our main box, and that we're going to run Wireshark on. So what we're going to do is we're going to retrieve our IP address and the network interface card address, or all the MAC address. Let me actually move this back over here. So we're going to retrieve the IP address and the network interface. Okay, so what we're going to do here is do the IP config/all, which is going to give us our information. So we're going to come in here on PCA, we're going to click Start, we're going to do our command window. And I'm used to running Windows 10, so it looks it up for me. Hold on a second. We're going to do oh, there we go, command window. We're going to not run it as administrator. We don't need to do that, but I'm just going to go ahead and open that. And that's going to give me my, what I call a DOS window, but it's my command line window. And we're just going to do IP config/all, which is going to give us our, and I'm just going to make this a little bit larger here, which is going to give us our network information. We're going to see our description of our, it's a Pro 100, our MAC address right here, our IP address. It's auto config 169.254.239, our subnet mask 255.255. These other ones here are disconnected media, so we're not going to worry about those. We're just going to worry about this one right here. Or in this case, right here, this one right here. Or right there. There you go. And what I do is I usually write that information down. So what I do is I'll just go ahead and open up a notepad. I'm going to do that on my main machine here. And I'm just going to open up a notepad, and I'm just going to type that information in. So I've got it. That's just what I do, so it's handy information. And the MAC address, and I don't think you can copy outside of there. So if you want to do that, what I also do sometimes is I just do just a real quick screenshot using my screen capture. I will also do that as well. That way I've got a screen capture of it. So I'm just going to use my snipping tool here. I'm going to go ahead and close this window here. And I'm just going to do my snipping tool. I'm going to take a quick screenshot of that. That's why I've got it. Let me clear that. And then I've got a copy of it here. The 192 or 169.254. I'm just going to move that off the screen. And next, what we're going to do is we're going to ask a team member for their IP address and provide the PC's IP address to them. Do not provide them with a MAC address at that time. So you're just going to provide your IP address to them. So in this case, let's go ahead and do PCC. And we're going to start a command window over here. And we're going to do the same thing, IP config/all. And I'm going to show you a trick that I do on this once I get this done. And I'm going to scroll back up. And so I've got this one on here. And I've got PCA there. And I've got them together kind of close. And I've got them where I can see both screens. And then I'm just going to do a snippet on both of those. See, I'm just going to do this right here. Actually, let me redo that. So I got the PCA and the PCC in there. And that way I've got both my information on here. I've got PCA here, and I've got PCC here, and then I can exchange that information. So I've got 239, 254, 239.97 here. I've got 254, 171, 134 there. And that way I've got them just real quick, easy access, and I'm just going to move those off the screen. And next, we are going to start our Wireshark and begin capturing data. So we're just going to go ahead and start Wireshark and create that or start that. And it's going to walk you through the steps on doing that. It's going to use the 802.3 Ethernet there. And let's just move this off to the side. It's going to get small, but we'll just move that off to the side there. There we go. I'm just going to leave that window open. It doesn't matter. I'm going to open up Wireshark, start that up. And we're going to go ahead and click on Start here. And we're going to configure our interface. So on the interfaces windows, I clicked Start before. Let me end this one. And we're going to click on our interface list here. And this is our list here. And looking at the PDF, that's what it's showing you there. There's 2 interfaces here. I'm only working with one on this computer. And we're going to go ahead and click Details. And we can see the 802.3 Ethernet here. And this is going to give us our permanent address station or our the MAC address information there. Click Close, click Start, and that's going to start capturing data. Okay, so I just went ahead and opened up Internet Explorer here and tried to go to Google, which even if you can't get to the site, it's okay because what we're doing is we're just creating traffic at this point. And if you look in here, you've got our traffic on movies down, and so we've got our traffic window now going through, and you can see that it tried to go to Google. If you're on a regular network, you're going to see all kinds of pinging and things going on. If I were to go in here and ping, ping Google like that, you're going to see it create traffic up here. You're going to see more traffic being created there. So that's what it's going to do. You're going to see the traffic, and what we're looking for particularly is we're looking for the ICMP traffic. So we're going to click on that filter on there, and we're going to filter that out, and we're just going to click on ICMP, press enter, and that's going to filter out anything that's not ICMP. We're only going to see ICMP traffic. Now in this next step, what we're going to do is we're going to ping the IP address of the other user, and the other user in this case was 169. So we're going to come in here and we're going to ping 169.254.171.134. We're going to ping that. We're getting a reply back, which is great, which means those 2 machines can see each other. And now we have filtered for ICMP, and now we can see that ping request. We can see that went through and that gave us our information. We can stop capturing by just going up here and clicking. It looks a little bit different. This is the older version versus the newer version. But if we click stop, it stops collecting data. Our information is still there, what we collected, because we can download that and save that. What we're going to do is we're going to examine the captured data. So you're just going to go through and you're going to examine this. And let me just make this back larger here on the screen. So you're going to see the data in 3 sections. The top section displays the PDU frames. And I'm going to highlight here. So displays the PDU frames. Well, if I can get a better highlighter going here. There we go. I'm going to delete that. There we go. Now we can do it. So we're going to delete the PDU or see the PDU frames captured with the summary of the IP information. The middle section lists the PDU information for the frame selected in the top part of the screen and separates a captured PDU frame by its protocol layers. And the bottom section displays the raw data of each layer. So when we are, well, if I can, there we go. So as we're looking down through that, this is the example here. And we're just going to go in here and look at the actual data here. So we're going to look at our source. We're going to look at our destination. See, we have our source where we're coming from, destination where we're going to. We pinged, so that's an ICMP protocol, and it's going to give us our information there. Down here, we're going to look at our raw data that went through, the ping information that went through, and here's all of our frame information. And you'll learn more about this later in more in-depth networking. Just keep in mind that this is the high level that we're working on with this lab at this point. So you can see your Internet protocol there. You can see all the information. You can see your ICMP information, Internet Control Message Protocol. And you want to answer these questions for your lab. Does the source MAC address match your PC's interface? Does the destination MAC address match the data of your team member? And how is the MAC address of the pinged PC obtained by your PC? So how does it get that information? And you want to write that down. And it's going to give you a note there. In the preceding example of the captured request, we should be able to come in here and look and find that information. So if we go in here and look at this frame information, there we go, look at that destination, and it gives us that information. Oh, and look there, it captured the MAC address for us. And if we went over there and looked, and if we looked at our MAC address, let me pull that back up on the screen. If we look at our MAC address there, let me do it this way. So we look at our MAC address here, which is 5056AB39F2, and if we looked here, 5056AB39F2, and there we go. Those are the same on there, which is just really interesting that once we ping, we can recover or find out what that MAC address is on that other card that's on the network just by pinging. And there's other tools that you can go out and you can just go and start pinging and trying to find open or live network ports, and then you can start pinging those and finding more information about those. Okay, on the rest of the lab here, you're going to click on the interface list icon to bring up the list PC interfaces again. It's going to do a start, and then when you do that, it's going to tell you that you have to save your information that you've already collected. So if we go in here and we are going to we're going to start collecting again. We go up here to our interfaces. Go up here and do Control-I to our interfaces, and we start collecting again. It's going to ask if we want to save. We're going to continue without saving, but if you did want to save that information down to a text file or to a file, you can do that. So we're going to do that, and it's going to start collecting again. And it's wanting us to ping different websites. And so we can just come in here and we can ping, let me ping my web page. Didn't get anything on that one. So let me see, ping Google. Let's ping Yahoo. Are we not getting any pings going out? Okay, there we go. We can ping Yahoo. Oh, nope, our ping is not working. It's not going out. So why is the ping not working? What did we ping before? Okay, right. So we did ping our other, we're not able to ping out to the internet. That's right. Because I tried to do that. I tried to get to a web page and it won't. So you'd have to have internet access if you're going to do that. And you can see here on the example on the PDF what it would look like if you were going to ping a particular web page. And you can capture that information. If you don't get that for your lab, then you can just ping in a regular window. But you should be able to see MAC addresses on those if you can get them from those, if it shows you that. So you want to answer those questions there. You also want to do it with a reflection question here. Why does Wireshark show the actual MAC address of the local host, but not the actual MAC address for the remote host? And just to give you a hint on that, because you're routing, because of the routing process, you're not going to get that MAC information forwarded on a routing table. That's just going to be the layer 3 and higher of information that's being passed on because you don't pass that MAC information on. Okay, so for the rest of this lab here, you're going to look at Appendix A. That's allowing ICMP traffic through the firewall. I probably need to go set the firewall. Is probably the reason it's not going through. So if you're being blocked, if your pinging is being blocked, you have to open up your firewall for ping traffic. Normally, you would block that information because you don't want somebody pinging you. If you want to block that out of your local computer, or if you have admin rights to be able to do that, you want to block that out. Not that pinging is that big of a deal, but it's usually blocked at the router anyway on a lot of the newer routers and the security layers. So this is if you're having trouble with that on lab computers, you want to make sure that your firewall is open to be able to allow. Let me go ahead and open that up to be able to allow to do that, and you can just follow through there, or you can find there's plenty of places on the internet where you can go and find how to open up your firewall to ping or ICMP, but look for ping request and it'll show you that. Okay, this is the end of the lab for 3334. If you have any questions, you can email me. Leave a comment down on the YouTube or on the video down at the bottom, and I'll get back with you on that. Or you can send me a message. If you leave me a comment, I get a message on that. So just leave a comment if you have any questions, and I'll try to get back with you as quick as possible. If you're in one of my labs, just email me through the course and I'll get back with you as quick as possible on that too, usually within 24 hours.